planning to be here for the Slice of Shoreham Parade. We do have pictures of them and all their families, so you can see. Pam's entire family is here today, her daughters and so grandson, the whole clan back there, so that was nice. My husband and his daughter are here. My second mom, Helen, my neighbor, she's here. Lou, you gave us such a big introduction here, but I'll introduce us as Pam and Pat, is what we were always called. We were born identical twins. We were pretty much raised by being called Pat Pam because the only person that could tell us apart was my mother. We have changed a little bit over the years, but we have a great history of Ryland Lane. My parents moved out to Ryland Lane in 1956 in August. They were very young. My oldest sister was only a year old. They did a contract for deed on a very small cabin on Ryland Lane. And at the time, they paid $50 a month. And when they purchased the home, it was $4,800, if you can imagine that back then. We had 175 feet of lakeshore, probably the third largest from the Snail Lake Public Beach and the Mission. And the Mission was directly across the lake from where we lived. Our home was located down towards the dead end, and so it was a very private lane. If any of you have ever been down Ryland Lane, it's a mile long and it's a dead end. So growing up there were tons of kids, all different age groups. Pam's put together a slideshow, a little bit of our history. My mom and dad moved out to the country when Shoreview wasn't even a year, or it wasn't registered yet. A year before it was considered a village. We had a small cabin that was 460 square feet, and we had 5 children that they raised. Pam and I were the very last. Our siblings are 10, 11 plus years older than we are, so when we were in elementary school, they were pretty much gone. But we were only in the house to sleep and eat dinner. Otherwise, we lived outdoors. Dinner was at 5, and you better be there, you get grounded. We loved growing up on the lake. We always said, we don't need a cabin, we have our own lake. We thrived on fishing year-round, summer fishing, ice fishing. We had everything. A huge ice rink, my dad would plow, he had floodlights. We had a warming house he built with a brick fireplace. All the kids from the street came, played hockey. And my brothers used to put us in the goals and take shots at us with our little figure skates on. Sliding was in abundance. We had huge hills behind our house. We'd start at the top of Brigadoon, come all the way down, go down our hill, and the goal was to go out as far on the lake as you could to see who would win. We had summer family reunions constantly at our house. The Vincent family is huge. My dad had 10 siblings, and all of them had 8, 9, 10, 11 kids. So because we were on the lake, we were always the hub. So in the summer, it was volleyball games, horseshoes, summer fishing, lots of swimming that we did. And it was just a wonderful place to grow up because it was safe. You knew all the neighbors, and all the kids watched out for everybody. And if you ever called someone by their first name instead of Mr. or Mrs., you got a smack because you showed respect for all of the parents of the street. And if you ask Pam and I today what their first names are, honestly, we could not tell you. We've always called them Mr. or Mrs., and that's kind of how it went. We lived in the house until all of us were graduated. My parents passed away several years ago. We kept the house going for about 5 years. It was a large lot. We had 50 feet on the road and 175 on the lake, so it was like a pie. And after my dad passed away, we wanted my mom to move up, and she just wanted to stay there. She never wanted to leave, and that's where she passed away. Did you want to say something?
One of the things that we would do is, when our family, reunions got so big, my mom and dad would rent out the Sina Farm, which was right on the other side of our lake. And so we have a lot of memories of being there for quite a few summers. And the other thing that came up too is we always did the chicken on the ice and the Snail Lake Supper Club.
Do any of you remember the Snail Lake Supper Club when they had that event? It was a setup club in the winter. When we were little, my dad would bundle us all up, and we'd go over there on the snowmobiles. They had picnic tables out there. They had a car out on the ice. They took the engine out of it, and you would have a raffle to see what day the car would fall through in the spring. So those are some good memories too. But being on the lake, we were never inside, always out doing stuff all day long on our bikes. Pam, she was, I always thought she was gonna be a veterinarian. She'd always try to save rabbits and turtles and garden snakes and everything else. But we've stayed here, I've stayed here. Pam's not far from here now, and I still live in Shoreview. And in the second half of our lives, as Lou and Jackie kind of alluded, we have been very involved in helping the Shoreview Historical Society with finding artifacts and relics. We are metal detectorists on the side, and have brought a lot of things, especially that we found on the Larson Farm and all of the parks that are around here. We've retrieved a lot of artifacts that we've given to the society. There's a news flyer here at the table. We were featured. We gave a presentation at the Pancake Breakfast. We've put together just a little display of our life, our history with our family. There's also a display case for the Heritage family that's out in the lobby with some more things if you wanted to check that out. And
Mom and Dad, probably it started in the late 80s, early 90s. They decided that they wanted to learn how to quilt. And there was a neighbor of ours, Mrs. Stutzman, that was a master quilter, and she showed them. And over the years, they had made many quilts together. It was kind of their thing. And they made 2 quilts for each of us, for the siblings. And then they had made many other like lap quilts that they had donated to nursing homes. And then our mom was really into crocheting. She made a lot of blankets. We never, you know, back then we didn't take pictures of them, but as we got older, I went back and started taking pictures of their quilts. I have a few of them up here that they've made, and they did a hand quilt for my oldest daughter too. But they were just very talented. My mom was an outstanding cook, and Dad was very musical. He always would play, you know, the accordion or guitar, piano. He was really talented. And so there were, you know, they did a lot of things for the neighbors, and it was just a really fun place to grow up in Shoreview.
Ryland Lane was the best ever, with the family so tight and all the kids, and we always had stuff to do outside. It was just a real extended family. There we go, there's Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
So we are honored to be chosen for the Heritage Family of 2022. We certainly won't let you down, and we're so grateful for meeting everyone in the Shoreview Historical Society. And you said you have 2 spots open on the board. You may be thinking about that, Jackie. So that's all we have. Thank you so much, everyone. There's a beautiful cake in the back room.
Why don't you talk a little bit more about the digging?
Oh, the digging?
Good job.
Jackie's really hooked on our digging.
Yeah. A lot of you saw it when we were at the breakfast, but some people didn't, so expand on it a little bit.
Sure. Pam is an artist, and I'm a crafter on the side. And when COVID hit, we used to do several craft shows together, art shows, and all that kind of came to a halt. Our father was an excavator, and I think we kind of got that from him. He would knock down old buildings or dig foundations and find old bottles and all kinds of things. And over the years, he kept all of that. Pam decided one day that she wanted to get into magnet fishing. So she watched some videos, and what it is, it's a magnet on a rope. You throw it in the water, you pull out sinkers, lead sinkers, hooks, whatever you can find, old tin cans. From there, she got hooked on metal detecting. So she bought a metal detector and she called me up and told me to meet her down at Lake Johanna. And she said, we're gonna start doing this. I said, you're crazy, you know? But we did. So she was out there in the water and she was in the sand and she was finding all this stuff. And she said, you wanna try it? And I said, I don't know, I'm always the skeptical one. And I put it in my hand and that was history. So for 3 years now, we've made it a goal in our community to hit all the beaches, the lakes, the streams, remove all the lead, fishing equipment, the fishing line. And we went through all the parks, all the beaches, we removed trash. We also pick up surface trash. So if there's anything laying down, we've got a bag behind us and we're pulling that up too. One day we drove by the Larson farm and we've known Jackie over the years through various events, and she also knew my family and she knew my mother. We said, would we be able to metal detect on that property? It's the only standing farmhouse left in Shoreview. It's from 1890, it was made of Chaska brick, and it's a beautiful place. And we went there in our first season, we must have found over 2,000 items, including nails. It was so interesting to learn about that property, about Art Larson and his wife Edna, and all the hardships they went through and what they did for a living there. They purchased the home in 1935, and it has been an extraordinary adventure. And from there, we do people's homes. If you think there's something lost in your yard, maybe your kids buried something years ago you don't know about, and we found that. We found jewelry that's been lost. We found old embossed bottles. We found several things on the farm without ever meeting Art Larson. We could tell you a story about his life, what he wore, what he drank, what he ate, how he lived. The story of history and what we've recovered tells the story of an entire man's life, his family and what they went through. And to us that is an extreme honor. We also know that there's been 5 Native encampments in Shoreview. And that's one of our bucket lists next, is to find artifacts for the geologists. We're working with Lou on that. Archaeologists, actually I found a Native tool a few weeks ago when we were out metal detecting, and it is a Native tool. And
It was on the Sina farm, by the way.
it was on the Sina farm down by the
Swamp.
Snail Lake Swamp. So a lot of good things. So we reach out and say, if you have a farm, if you've got some land, if you know where there was an outhouse, let us know.
Beachfront property, everything we do is free. It's all on our own time. We donate everything. It's all donated, and we just really enjoy doing it. And what we're partnering up now with, if I remember the group, to get the lead out.
The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency reached out to us. We actually reached out to them after an article in the recent public press paper. Her name is Heidi, she's with the agency, and she has a program along Sucker Creek called Get the Lead Out. They have boxes there where you can put lead that you find, or fishing string, or whatever. And we're gonna be meeting up with her this summer. She wants us to show her how to metal detect and magnet fish. And we let her know that we have a large jar ourselves full of old lead sinkers that we've retrieved out of there. And ironically, she has a twin sister too. And so we're gonna have some fun with that. I think Giving back to your community is so important. We never realized the places that were around us when we were growing up, the farms, the parks. We never knew about Art Larson's house, because back then we were kids, it wasn't important, and we were just out having fun with our friends. But as you get older, history is so important. And doing this, not only do we have fun, but when we find something, it's just like, yeah. And,
The blast that we get is when we try to identify what it is, what it was used for, and how old it is, because we look up everything, we search what we find, so that's kinda neat.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
we have a YouTube channel, it's Twin Diggers Minnesota. And we also have a Facebook page, it's Twin Diggers Minnesota, and we have business cards too. We have probably over 80 YouTube videos that we have posted. It's a friendly channel. We never disclose where we're at, because we don't want some pirates coming in there and trashing the place or something happening.
We
So
don't film buildings, we don't say where we're at,
we don't use people's names, we keep it real
everything is private, so.
private. If you're interested, a lot of the videos are at the Larson farm, and you can see all of the items. We take photographs on Facebook of all the items that we've retrieved. And if you're interested, give us a like, or give us if you want our business card and you want us to do some searching in your yard for you, let us know. We'd be glad to set up a time.
And again, thank you so much, we really appreciate it. We wish Mom and Dad were here to see all of this. I know that they would be very proud. My dad especially, he really loved living on the lake and helping everybody. Where'd you go, Jackie?
Where is she? What's going on?
Okay, so, this is the plaque that will be here at the Sharkey Community Center. It's got all, this is the plaque that's gonna be at the Sharkey Community Center, thank you. It'll be over in the City Hall side. And you can please come up and look at this. You get to look at it, but you don't get to keep it, but you can hold it and they're gonna take pictures of you.
Nice.
Isn't that nice?
Here
But
we
you
are right there.
also will get the certificate for your family that you can keep.
thank
And I'll
you.
make
That's
another
so
one,
nice.
so you each get one. I'll make you two.
Well, yeah, that would be
So,
nice.
anyhow,
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you so much. All right.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
And please come up and get some more refreshments.
Got one other thing. Lou, which one of us is Pat and which one of us is Pam?
Well, let me help out here if you don't know who you are. Here's a good one. One is named Pam, it's a short name, and so is her hair.
That's how you figured it out.
So the other must be Pat, right?
So funny. You're a hoot, yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do. I know.
Thank you. This is awesome, everyone. Thank you.